After having worked on more longer format projects, what did you find limiting with the Digi60 process, knowing that you were going into something that was going to be a lot shorter, like a 6 to 8 minute project? Did you have to make any sacrifices, or were you able to get so much you had a lot to choose from?
I'm actually really interested in his answer because, and I'm not saying this, I'm better or anything like that. I think I have an advantage having a music background and having been on stage, etc. I have to tell my stories in 3.5, 4 minutes, right? Each song is its own sort of, emotion, its own sort of thing. So having the music background and perform, on, in front of 1,000 people or whatever it is, you've got to tell those people that story in a very short time. So you've got to have your beginning, your middle, your end. But having worked so long in that sort of medium before, I didn't really see it being limiting. It felt like it was like, all right, that's what I've got. So it didn't bother me. But I know that Lee has done, so many full-length features and told a lot of different stories or put some crazy stuff in because it was working, I'm kind of more interested to hear how...
I don't think you are interested. You kept going on and on. If you were interested, you would have shut up a long time ago.
Wow.
Sorry. Okay. Hold for edit.
He's not editing that shit. He's keeping that.
I like to learn from my mistakes. I'm teaching.
You're still learning?
Yes, I teach them. I'm teaching soccer and showing kids how to skate. And every time you fall down, you learn to stay up, right? And in film, your mistakes are what you cut out of the movie. And so when you're making something like an 8-minute short for Digi60, you realize how much you don't need in your movie. And I think when he said, what's the difference between making a long film and a short film, and you made me think about the stuff you take out, it made me think about George Lucas, and it made me think about some of the Star Wars movies and what he's put back. And I don't mean to be I sound like a hater or be bashing George Lucas because I know he's watching, but some of the stuff if you look at Return of the Jedi and The Empire Strikes Back, some of the stuff he put back in the movie is all the stuff that belonged on the editing room floor. Like at the end of The Empire Strikes Back, and I can't believe we're getting into this, but I'd like to because for me
say it pisses you off.
In The Empire Strikes Back. After Luke has his lightsaber battle with Darth Vader, in the movie, in the original release cut, after he cut his hands off and he fell down the thing, and Leia and Lando pick him up, all of a sudden Vader's on the Star Destroyer. He got from Cloud City to the Star Destroyer. But when he released it 20 years later, he felt the need to take footage from the Return of the Jedi and show Vader go from point A to B because he has no faith in his audience. He doesn't think, the audience can figure out, how did Darth Vader all of a sudden get there? Like it's a mistake. And when you're making a short film, you cut these things out and you make a tighter project. And it's fun learning what you can get away with, and then the more you do that when you're on set, well, I don't need that, and I don't need that because the audience can put that stuff together.
It's gonna work.
Yeah,
and that's what I like about the short filmmaking process. So when I go make my feature-length film, I can fit more into 90 minutes because I know I don't need that anymore, and I don't need that, and we don't have to spend time moving the crew and the camera. I did this one scene, and I learned this from making short films. You work with outside of your frame, and the way we were shooting on an actual location, and the door was here, and we were shooting way at the back of the room, and but I never established the door, and I just had this tight frame, and the actors had to exit the scene to go down to the car, and everyone felt that we needed to move the crew and the camera out to the door. I said, well, we haven't seen that. They can just exit left of frame, and we'll just cut to the car. I don't know. It's kind of like it made me think, this is not my first film. and so you like what I say. You learn from your mistakes.
Adrian's movie this year was a very visual movie.
Oh, I hated him so much for that sun thing.
And you almost think if you've got an 8-minute thing, they really have long shots like that. Like you got to get a story in. That's what you'd be thinking. But he used the visuals to tell the story. So
he's so good at it.
So he didn't throw out the visual storytelling. What he threw out was the dialogue.
Dialogue. There's too much dialogue in movies too. There's too much talking sometimes. I think good writers know what not to write is just like an editor, good editor knows not what to put in the movie.